We welcome you to the. Oh, there we go. Welcome, 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 everyone. Hello. Welcome to the last episode in Holistic Living with HIV. Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome from wherever you are streaming in from. You can find today's episode on our Facebook page. That is at the number 4, United. Our Facebook page, as well as our YouTube channel and our LinkedIn. And that's where we'll be streaming live. So share with your friends and let them know. My name is Nicole Bafong. I am a cannabis patient and a plant medicine advocate. I was diagnosed with HIV in 2017. And I am taking a naturalistic, naturopathic approach to how I treat that virus. And so I wanted to share with you all a little bit about my routine, what I do daily to help maintain my holistic living. And my first episode, we met with Chef Stacy, who is also part of our tribe family here at Tribe with Roots. And we talked about plant-based lifestyle. And then the last episode that we did online was about meditation and movement. It was amazing. And so we met with Self-Love with Leticia, and she taught us about meditation and journaling.
So important.
Yes, and mindfulness. And that was great. And then we had a session with Anna at Kintsugi Yoga Studio. We appreciate them for allowing us to participate. But today I'm so excited because I get to introduce you all to this amazing, amazing goddess, Dr. Nina Tabor. And I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about who she is and what she does.
Thank you.
And so welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you guys for having me today. I'm Dr. Nina Tabor. I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine. I'm a huge advocate for healthcare done naturally. I'm so glad to hear that you did body movement, meditation.
So important.
Moving the chi is something that we try to do with acupuncture. So I'm really thrilled to hear that you guys had some exposure to how to do that on your own, which is also part of our medicine, is training and teaching people how to take care of themselves in between treatments, which is imperative when you're dealing with chronic illnesses and kind of what you're dealing with HIV.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful. I met Dr. Nina. We lovingly call her around here. And it was ironic because I was given her contact, but we weren't able to connect immediately, and the stars aligned.
Yes.
While I was actually in Florida helping Roz on her recovery last summer. So it's been since last summer.
It has, yeah.
It feels like forever.
Yes.
The connection is real, and I so love working with Tribe with Roots, like I was explaining earlier. To our live audience, I also consult with the clinic with Tribe with Roots as their local concierge.
Yes.
So when patients come to her and they have questions about cannabis, she will send them to me, and I will educate them about the endocannabinoid system, about terpenes and flavonoids and cannabinoids, and help them to understand what cannabis product might be right for them and what they're dealing with. And so I'm excited to be Tribe with Roots concierge, and working with the whole clinic here. We have many services. So you guys follow Tribe with Roots, follow the Good Witch Doctor. That is the period good period witch doctor, one word, on Instagram. And make sure that if you ever come to Vegas and you need some remedies because you did too much, or you're just coming to Vegas because you are looking for healing and you're looking for alternatives, because we are in the Mojave Desert. I love how you explained this. Can you share with us what you said, what happened in the last couple of years, and of that energy that brought us together?
So as a practitioner here, and as in the healing arts, and as a licensed doctor, I do get asked a lot of the time, why did I choose to open a clinic and build here? People think of Vegas, they don't think of healing. They think of the Strip, which has a lot of toxic behaviors attached to it. In 2020, the Strip shut down for the first time ever. It went dark. There wasn't traffic. The casinos were closed.
Lights were off.
And
the Bellagio, everywhere.
Yeah, and a very interesting thing happened. people forget we are part of the Mojave Desert. That is a very small scape of land. It is Vegas, a little bit into Arizona, not as far as Sedona, only a little bit, and a little bit into California, and that is it. And when that energy of the strip shut down, the surgeons of healers migrating into the Mojave area really, I mean, we went up by thousands, not just a few hundred, thousands of healers came in and moved in here. And just that energy, that the earth energy just called and brought those people in, and it didn't have that static noise from the strip. Now we're here, and we still get asked, why are you guys here? And if you think about it, you don't go to the healed people. You go to the sick people. You go to the people who need it the most.
That's right.
And so if you're really, truly called to this line of work, you go where it's needed most.
That's
and
right.
Here we are.
And here we are.
And we love, Nicole, our doctors here at the facility are all federally licensed herbologists. We're federally licensed doctors as well. But we are not trained. We are trained in Chinese herbs, Chinese medicine. We're not trained in cannabis. And it wouldn't serve us to try to pretend that we are.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we do is we align with people who are experts in what they do. We have a lot of people on a litany of prescriptions that want to get off.
That's
and
right.
some of what we can do really, really helps. It's slow and steady. Cannabis can come in and really help that effort. And this is where we use Nicole for her guidance. So it makes a good team.
It does, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and I learn so much every time I come to the clinic, and I sit with Dr. Nina, and we talk about my treatment, and we talk about what is going to best help me along my journey, because it's a journey, you guys. It's not something that happens overnight. It is something that takes time and patience and commitment to your healing. Because everything that I put in my body, that's why I started the series talking about my plant-based lifestyle. Everything that I put in my body, whether that's reading, meditation, mindfulness, all of those things add to my healing process.
Exactly.
And it requires consistency. It requires me not coming and getting an acupuncture treatment one time, but staying on a schedule where I know that we are dealing with certain things. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about my personal use for the Chinese herbs and what I'm doing because with HIV, you have to understand that the virus lives in the blood, right? And so understanding that it means that you have to you have to be able to clean the blood, right? Because it's one thing to eat the right foods that are not adding more toxins to the blood, but then you have to get those toxins out of the blood. Right? And continue to rejuvenate those red blood cells, right?
Yep, and you have to build the blood. A lot of people with HIV, they wrestle with anemia and blood deficiency.
And I was born anemic, so that's one of the things that I have to, that we talk about all the time and that we work on since I've been coming here is building my blood back up because it's in my genetics.
Yeah, and a lot of my HIV patients, they will wrestle with stagnant blood as well. So. And which can also happen when you're blood deficient. In fact, it can be worse when you're blood deficient. Mm-hmm. So stagnant blood is poor circulation. A lot of HIV patients wrestle with heart issues, cardiac issues, and poor blood circulation. So that is another thing that we do address with those patients.
Fantastic. Yes. So one of the things that I also am dealing with as a patient is herpes. And which is another viral infection, as well as fibroids, because I have these fibroids which are malignant tumors in a sense that grow on women's uterus and on their ovaries, within their reproductive organs. And so what these tumors do is they feed off of the blood in the body, and so but what feeds the tumors is sugar. And different things that in your diet that add to the growth and the strength of these fibroids. And so in dealing with trying to clean my blood, building up my blood, getting rid of all these viruses that are in my body, making sure I'm not putting things into my body that feed these viruses, that allow them to flourish in my body. And that's so important.
Right.
And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and also with HIV, it's other things other than physical ailments and opportunistic things that will wreck your body whereas maybe somebody else wouldn't have a surgence of those things.
That's right.
But we're also, with acupuncture, we're also addressing emotions, emotional health. There's a lot of anxiety / depression. That swing happens a lot.
Absolutely.
We're dealing with sleep issues, insomnia, or the other way, a lot of fatigue and weakness. There's a lot of muscle weakness, muscle fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole litany of things that come with the patient who has a compromised immune system,
Mm-hmm.
which is another thing. We boost the immune system
Mm-hmm.
that we can talk about.
That's right.
That we're addressing with acupuncture. But as Nicole said earlier, it is the slow and steady. You need to approach acupuncture like you would approach the gym. You can't expect to go to the gym one time
And get
and
results.
then, I mean, I wish.
Right. We all do.
But
it
it
doesn't work that way.
You
Yeah.
have to go consistently,
Yes.
weekly. You have to make it a lifestyle,
Yes.
and then you get results.
That's right.
The same thing with the herbs. You have to take them consistently, and that's something that we talk about a lot as food as medicine. There's a lot of things that when you understand this medicine, you can do on your own to help yourself. You can do acupressure points. I teach that. You can do gua sha. I teach that to
Yes.
my patients, and you can do food as medicine. There's a lot you can do.
And we're going to be showing you some of these practices, because I know she said a lot, and I know what these words mean now, but I didn't when I first got here.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So we're going to actually show you and share with you some of the things that we do when I come get treatment here. And I just wanted to add how valuable it has been just in the 6 months, I guess, or 9 months going on now, that I met Dr. Nina and been treated by Dr. Nina. I understood. I was born anemic, like I said earlier. I had no idea that there were dozens of different types of anemia. Who knew that? And all the doctors that I've seen and talked to have never told me that. And I was so frustrated and hurt almost that that another practitioner had not explained that to me, and explained to me that those different types of anemia are caused by different things.
And they require different treatment.
Exactly. That's the most important part.
If you don't have iron deficiency anemia, you have pernicious anemia, it doesn't matter how much iron you take, it's not going to fix your issue.
It's not going to work.
You need to take B12 for that type of anemia.
So this is why I come to her. She's amazing. Just learning so much, because I have had to become an advocate in my own healthcare. Every doctor, every practitioner that I've gone to see since I got diagnosed with HIV in 2017, I've had to explain to them about cannabis. I've had to explain to them why I use cannabis, how I use cannabis, and why that helps with lowering my viral load, why it helps me manage anxiety and pain, and the list goes on. And so it's interesting. Our light went out. Okay, hold on a second, folks. I think we're having a little technical difficulty here.
Do we just lose power?
I hope not. Let me see. 2 seconds, y'all. Coming right back.
It's like hot.
Is it? Guys, sorry. All right, so no more dark lights. Well, and we're getting ready to do acupuncture anyway, so perfect.
It's
so
good. I should be able to see where I'm poking her.
There we go. All right, so
Things happen for a reason.
they do. So let's get right into this. I think I was talking about how important it is for me to incorporate all of these things into my holistic lifestyle. I was talking, and you were talking about the consistency of acupuncture and making sure that you do it regularly.
Yeah.
So that's really important as well. But what I noticed about this journey, since I really started it, probably going on a year now. January of last year, I received a ancestral reading, and that changed the way that I looked at spirituality for myself, and then also the way that I looked at my healing journey. It helped me to understand so much clearer that this is a journey and that it's going to require many levels and layers of practice in order for me to get to the place on the other side of this. And so, I'm not recommending for anyone else to come off of their antiretroviral treatment. That's not what I recommend. But it is the journey that I decided to take because I know that for me, that taking the medicine and doing the things that I'm doing didn't align. And so I keep an eye on my levels. I keep an eye on my numbers. I know that when I'm not eating properly and when I am not doing my meditation regularly, I can feel it. I can feel it in my body. I can feel my body react to my viral load increasing because stress adds to that. Anxiety adds to your viral load. And so by maintaining a certain level of balance, I've been able to, not have breakouts, not have the virus in that way appear on my skin. It's getting better as a practice, And so all of those things, me being more in tune with my body has really allowed me to be able to focus on what's important in healing, and not have to worry about where my viral load numbers are or how I'm feeling. Is how I really tune in and tap into what is going on overall. And that just requires, it requires, though, like I said, the spiritual aspect of it all. That meditation really helps me to tap in and tune in to my ancestors and understanding different people that I should and should not be around, who is feeding me and who is taking. And that really helps with this journey as well, because it requires so much energy and so much, focus. And it's not just the physical, it's not just the diet. And people ask me that all the time, that, I get, I have diabetes. What kind of weed do I need to smoke? I'm like, it doesn't really work that way.
Chinese medicine is the same. So our practice in our clinic, all of our doctors are traditional practitioners. So we use the protocols and the herb prescriptions from over 5,000 years. Chinese medicine goes back much further, but pen and paper doesn't. And so it's only documented about 5,000 years.
Right.
One of the things to speak to what you just said is spirituality is a large part of Chinese medicine. It is that in that medicine, you don't separate the person into compartments. You don't send them here for physical care, there for mental care, here for spiritual health. And so in our clinic, we built this. The reason why we have this temple in the heart of the clinic is our clinic is centered on true ancient Chinese medicine, which is, it addresses all of those elements, and we service the whole patient. And that's a very important part of patient healing and patient thriving. You can thrive with HIV. It is, you don't have to end everything when you get diagnosed with HIV, but it's hard to do by yourself. Use the tribe, use your people, use your resources.
Absolutely.
They're out there.
They are out there. And that's what this spiritual journey has led me to. Being able to meditate, set intentions, and manifest the tribe that I want to have around me, the people that I want to have around me, the energy that I want to bring my way and block. It all comes with me being able to have that tapped in spiritual connection, and then everything else kind of falls into place, and it's amazing how that happens.
Right.
It really is. But it's been such a special and important journey, so that I know that the goal is learning how to heal, so that I can help others and teach others how to do the same. That's the purpose.
Exactly.
And I'm focused on that because it's so important and so vital. So many other people need to hear that, and so many other people need to witness it. And so that's why I'm so open and honest and transparent about my journey and what it requires, because I don't want to make it seem like it's all roses and
it's hard. No,
and bubbles, and it's not.
She makes me work.
And vice versa. She makes me work and makes me focus on what I need to be taking and what I need to be doing, and I value her integrity, and I value her intelligence, and the knowledge and wisdom that she brings, because I've never had a doctor like you.
Oh, thank you.
It's
I'm sorry for that.
I know
But
it's
thank you
unfortunate.
for,
Yeah.
That is here at this clinic. We are trying to reinvent what medicine looks like. We're trying to put the care back into healthcare, and I know myself and the other doctors here. We really do care. We meditate on people. We are there for people. We will do things for them outside of the office if they need us to show up for their surgery. We're there. It's we're trying to change the standard so
For
that
healthcare.
people start demanding this of their other doctors, because it's truly it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't go through life not understanding certain aspects of your body.
That's
like
right.
the anemia example
My whole
we used
life.
earlier.
I'm 40 years old. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of doctors.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yes. And so last year, one of my goals was to make sure that I was not going back to the hospital for more blood transfusions. I had to do 6 last year, and that's average about 1 every other month. And that's just too much, sitting in an emergency room. And it's because of the fibroids that are causing the blood loss. And then of course it's the HIV and the other virus that is infecting the blood, and not allowing the blood to be strong and great like it needs to. And so many factors contribute to that, but there are things like not eating sugar and stop eating ice. She's also a hypnotherapist, which is very, very, very powerful skill that helps people to get over addictions, trauma, so many things.
It helps you change a habit. Whether here or anywhere, don't underestimate the power of hypnotherapy. It can help you change a habit easily without the suffering. To stop smoking, to change your eating habits, to be motivated to work out. It takes the suffering out of the change.
That's right.
And that's why I fell in love with that. That was originally before I became a doctor. I worked solely as a hypnotherapist.
As a certified hypnotherapist. Yeah. Wow. So it has been life-changing for me, and I want to get started, I think, with our treatment so that you can see how painless acupuncture is. I want you to explain to folks about your smallest employees.
Yes.
I love this story.
Okay. These are our needles all come sterilized in a little pack. They're only one-time use. We never reuse them. Even if I have to move a needle, I'll take it out, throw it away, and use a new one. And so when our needles come here at our clinic, we do a lot of things that the patients will never see, they'll never know. But it's all for their benefit. And one of the things we love to do is that when inventory comes into our clinic and something from the outside world comes into this, what we consider our sacred space. We take all of the needles, the herbs, anything of our inventory, we'll put it on the table in the spirit room, and we'll sage and bless everything, and we tell them, you are our tiniest little employees. You are here to do a job. You're not allowed to cause any pain. You have a very important function, and we bless them. And then we let them sit in the spirit room. In our clinic, we have a spirit room. It has over 100 artifacts and healing ceremonial tools that our shamans will use, that our doctors will use. And so it sits in there, and it just gets blessed by all the tools. And then we put them and stock them in the rooms to use. So patients never see that. They never see that. Some people think, oh, it's weird waste of time. It's not.
It's not.
It's all intention. You can get the exact same treatment from another doctor, but the intention will give you a different result.
That's right. And that's what it's about.
important.
And she taught me that as well, how important your intentions are, and the work that you do, and the work that we do as healers. It's so important that we are intentional with our healing practice, right? We have to put aside our opinions and put aside our misjudgments and just focus on what the patient needs. And that requires being in tune, tapped in to source, to yourself enough to, because before I, give any, not advice, because I'm not a medical doctor, but before I share my story, before I ask the universe to help guide me on what to say and how to advise, I always, have a moment, right? And I do that more now lately than ever before, where I just take a moment to listen just to listen to spirit, to say, I am here as your servant. You tell me what to do. Please guide my hands. Please guide my words. You know that I have the understanding and the knowledge, and then now you just need to help me understand what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah. And that's why you're part of the tribe.
Taking the time to do that is so important, and it really adds value to the person that you're sharing the experience with,
right?
And the person that you're supposed to be helping.
It's just as important to do those things when nobody's looking, if not more important.
Right. Absolutely.
We all know the things to do when somebody's watching, but it's when no one's watching, when no one will know.
That's right.
How are you spending your time? What are you doing?
That's right. That's what's most important.
That's the important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me show you. I've got these teeny tiny little needles. I don't even think you'll be able to see them. I'll try. Let's see. This camera, this camera, this camera. They're so tiny.
We're live. Yes, they are tiny.
So these, like she said, we call them our tiniest employees. I can fit 10 of my needles inside the hole of a needle that you draw blood from. So they're super tiny, like a little piece of hair. They're not supposed to hurt. If you're getting acupuncture and it hurts,
then they're doing it wrong.
That, or you might be seeing a true Chinese practitioner. Because when I was working in China, if it doesn't hurt a little bit, they think you're not doing your job right. So Westerners don't like the pain.
Okay.
When I was in Asia, they feel like the pain is part of the process. But really, it should not hurt. If the practitioner is doing it correctly, it shouldn't hurt terribly much. Of course, there's this little, it crosses the barrier, but if we're placing it in between the anatomical landmarks the way we're supposed to be, it's very comfortable. People forget they're there. They fall asleep all the time on the table. It's a pleasant experience, right?
It is. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's
very
not
relaxing.
just, once the practice is done, we're not going to do that today because we're live,
Yeah.
but usually once the practice is done, I sit in the room on the table with all my needles in, and I just meditate, because before I start the practice, before she needles me, I set my intention for my treatment that day, because like we just talked about how important that is.
Yeah.
And so setting my intention for the treatment, when I have my meditation time and my quiet time while the needles are in, and I can feel them, the energy moving through me, through the points, is when I am meditating, and I'm waiting for those downloads. That's what I call them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I do during my full moon ceremony. We're in the moon room here at the clinic. I use psilocybin for that because that's such an important plant medicine. And so I really, back in college, I was using magic mushrooms, y'all. If y'all don't know what psilocybin is, it's the active ingredient in mushrooms that give you that extra kick. But it's what gives you the hallucinogenic part of the mushroom. Right.
Yeah, not when you microdose.
Not when you microdose, right.
I just want to clear that, because microdosing is very, very effective.
Absolutely.
You can function as a normal being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who microdose
Yeah.
and have been able to come off of their antidepressant medicine.
Correct.
Because they're using psilocybin as a replacement for that. Just like I know plenty of people that have come off of pain medicine because they use cannabis as a replacement for that. So same thing, same concept. You have to definitely understand about the plant, though. It's not for everyone, but it definitely does help. And microdosing, like she said, is such a valuable part of using it. So all right, so we're gonna get started with my treatment today.
Yep. Just a little example. So acupuncture, what I'm doing is I'm doing a point on Nicole right here. Let's see if we can see her hand. Mm-hmm. So it's just very gentle. I'm just going to swab it with a little alcohol. Give it a little feel. I want it right there. A little pop. That's it. It's very gentle, very effective, very easy.
Can you see you all?
Try that. And so this particular point that I just needled on
what
her,
is
this is called LI4 for large intestine channel 4. So think of the meridians in the body as kind of like circuitry in your home, okay? There's wires running all throughout the walls in your home. And then you have outlets that you plug items into. So the points in your body are like outlets. The needles are like the apparatus that you're plugging into to do a specific thing. So if you plug in a lamp, it's going to do something. If you plug in a heater, it's going to do something else. So I'm plugging into this point right here which is going to help her body clear out heat. It's going to help it eliminate toxins. It's going to help it build up blood and circulate blood, and a whole litany of other things. So the different points that I choose for my patients and for Nicole are very specific to her and her issues. Every patient protocol is completely different based on their needs. Everything is customized. I don't go off of a book of HIV patients follow this protocol. Of course, there's ideas, but every patient is different. Everyone has different needs. Everyone's a different age, a different race, a different gender, and they have different needs.
That's right.
So this is a very common point that we would use for somebody with HIV. Another common point would be in the wrist, right here. That point helps to, again, it's a mood elevator. It calms the Shen. So if you have a lot of anxiety, if you have a surgery coming up, if you've got a transfusion coming up, it helps with chronic fatigue. It helps with chronic pain. It also helps boost the immune system and helps open the chest. So if you get shortness of breath, circulatory issues, we're going to do that point. So there's several points on the body. If you're not comfortable with acupuncture, you can take these same points and stimulate them with a little object or with your finger. Just kind of put your nail on that point, hold it for 30 seconds, and you can get some benefits from that. Acupressure is a very real thing.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm always happy to teach people how to do acupressure. Acupuncture is a different thing. You need to be a licensed doctor. It is invasive, and you could hurt yourself.
Right, or someone else. So don't do that.
Yeah, so please don't. But acupressure, absolutely. The other thing I just wanted to share is that we touched on food as medicine. Here, all of our prescriptions are herbs. So I brought a couple. I got some dongwei. This is a blood builder herb, so we'll put this in our teas. And gochitsa is one.
This one looks like some bark. Is it like a root of bark?
It is a bark.
Uh-huh.
And then we've got, actually this one's kind of a root sliced.
Yeah,
it's like a thick
like.
root. And then huang chi is a bark. Huang chi is an chi tonifies chi, so that just is our way of saying building energy in Chinese medicine. We talk funny. Don't mind us. So this tonifies chi, which is really important when you're dealing with a chronic virus or a chronic illness. You deal with a lot of fatigue. So you could just take one little piece of this, pop it in some hot water or in some already pre-made tea, and just give yourself a little gentle, healthy boost of energy. This is in a lot of my tinctures and a lot of my teas. But I also wanted to bring these in. This one is gochitsa, and this one's hotaren. Now, you might say, that looks kind of familiar. These are walnuts. Walnuts are Chinese medicine. Food is medicine.
That's
so
right.
This helps with your brain. It helps with your joints and sinews. And gochitsa is a great energy builder. We call it tonifies the yang, builds the blood. And so both of these, this is also really good for your eyes and make great snacks. So when you're thinking of how do I support my body, you can use food as medicine, make your snacks healthy.
Yes.
So you're actually feeding your body the things it needs.
Yes.
Instead of introducing sugars and things that it doesn't need.
That's right. And these look like goji berries. Is that what they are?
Yeah. Sorry. I said gochitsa, but goji berries.
Yes, that's what they look like.
These,
okay.
It is.
Right.
Gochitsa is the Chinese word for it, and hotaren is the Chinese word for
walnuts. Love it. And a lot of what I have to do with my practice and my treatment, the hypnotherapy helps with my addiction to ice and sugar, because that was one of the last things that I could not get rid of. And it's a process. I'm much better than I was 6 months ago, than I was 3 months ago. And I can see the progress and how it works. She gives me practices, like, things that I would have to say to myself. So it's not just the physical aspect, but it's more the mental.
Yes, absolutely.
Tapping into my spirituality. Why am I not eating sugar? Right. Why am I not eating ice? What does it cause bad in the body, right? What does it cause the body to do?
It creates the body hypofunctioning. So your metabolism starts to shut down as you introduce cold into the body. It makes the body work really, really hard to regulate the blood, to regulate the digestive system. And so we don't want to be introducing ice. Ice is in Chinese medicine, it's a huge no-no. However, living in the Mojave Desert,
you crave ice.
I'm very gentle about it. It gets over 100 here, so, a little ice, whatever. But during the winter, absolutely not.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's worse during the winter
worse
time.
during the
Yeah,
winter.
and you're dried out more, and that just dries you out. It doesn't really hydrate you. And living in the desert, it's so important to hydrate. So let's talk
Yeah.
about that test. The test that I took
Oh,
when I
yeah.
first got here,
Yeah.
which is another test
called
that I've
Tanita.
never gotten before.
Yeah.
And please explain a
Oh,
little bit
yeah.
about what
Okay.
this test does.
So here in the clinic, we have what's called a Tanita scale. It measures your hydration levels. It always shocks me how many patients will come in and they've never had their hydration levels measured, checked, anything. So you know that the average person, we should be about 60 to 70% water, right?
Right.
I mean, that's most people
the
know
standard.
that much.
Yeah.
So I'm like, good, that's a good start. Now, where are you at? Where are you at?
How do you know how hydrated you are? How does that get explained to you?
So we have an ultrasonic scale. You get on, and it sends 3 ultrasonic waves. It takes about 20 seconds, and then it does a lot of stuff. It measures visceral fat. It measures bone density. It measures a lot of stuff. But hydration is one of them. Most of my patients, when they get on the scale, are between 40 and 50%. They're so low, and there are so many things that happen in the body when you're chronically that low in hydration. Insomnia, anxiety, mental fatigue, let alone all the physical things that go with it. Friction, it creates friction in the body, which is heat. So then you get a lot of feeling overheated, maybe what we call yin deficiency. So part of that is educating people on where they're at and how do they safely get rehydrated. It just like the gym, just like acupuncture, it doesn't happen overnight. You can drink the perfect amount of water for a week and maybe bump it up 1%. So it's going to be a slow and steady climb to get yourself back. If you're down 20%, if you're in the 40% level, you have been chronically hydrated for a very long time to get that low. And most people are. I will just say, I even have people who are in the 30s, 33% hydrated. That comes with so many health issues.
And so if you're already dealing with health issues, if you're already trying to heal your body's at disease, it's amazing. I had water. Well, and that's one of the tips that she taught me. If you're feeling tired, if you are feeling lethargic, same thing as tired, but if you're feeling nauseated, if something comes up, you feel a headache coming on, drink some water. Yeah. You're probably dehydrated, and that was one of the things that I had to learn when I first moved to the desert in 2019 from Georgia, which is a very humid state. And moving here to Las Vegas, that was one of the things that first put me in the hospital. I was in the hospital a month after I moved here because dehydration that led to the anemia. So my hemoglobin was low, and I did not realize it. And so that was one of the first signs that I knew, okay, when this headache starts, that means I'm probably low on blood. And that was one of the first things that I learned by moving to the desert, how fast that can happen. Yeah. And so one of the things that I don't leave home without is my bottled water.
Yeah.
And
most people here.
That's one of the things. Like, you don't, in the wintertime, you don't leave home without a jacket, because once the sun goes down, it could be dangerous. and you don't leave home without water, because staying hydrated while we live in the desert is so very important.
Yes, and so many people are chronically dehydrated. In fact, most. I think in the entirety of my clinic, I think I've only seen 3 or 4 people actually come in fully hydrated. It's very rare. Some people are not that far off the mark, but most everyone is chronically dehydrated. Yeah, and if you are having a lot of health issues, please do check it, because those people tend to be in, like I said, the 30s, 38% hydrated when they should be 65% hydrated.
And another thing that I want to share with you all is that when I did get diagnosed in 2017, the virus was attacking my kidneys. So that was another thing that was added on top of everything else that I was dealing with at the time. And so your kidneys are the filters for your body. And so if you're not drinking the right type of water, if you're not eating the right foods, they wanted to put me on steroids at the time. And I said, no, I'm just going to continue to work my diet and continue to eat the right foods to help build my kidneys back up. And so all of those things, and even acupuncture can help with your kidney function. Yep. Your liver function, your lungs, so many other things that add to how you are treating and managing your health.
Exactly.
And so I just wanted to, make sure that you all understood that acupuncture is not scary.
No. I might be, but it's not.
she's definitely not scary. She is amazing. She's a brilliant doctor that really cares about her patients, and
I
that's
do.
so important. She cares about the experience that they have here. That's why she's built this beautiful, amazing
Yeah.
clinic.
What's the longest you've ever waited for your appointment?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes.
How much time do I usually spend with you?
Oh, at least an hour.
At least.
Yeah.
And do I ever rush you out of the room?
No, never.
In fact, I serve you tea in a second. Tell you to stay.
I tell you to stay as long as you want.
I have plenty of rooms, and so I don't rush my patients, and I give them tea and a snack when they're done, and I tell them to stay until you feel fully present to come out.
And go on with your day. Take
Yeah.
it easy, because acupuncture affects everyone differently.
Yep.
It's one of the things that the patients that my dad saw and has seen over the years that he was alive and in practice. That was one of the things that they said, that your dad is not the average doctor, because he spends as much time as I need, not as he has,
Yeah.
but as I need to explain what I'm dealing with and to really consider what the best treatment option might be. And he was a surgeon, but surgery wasn't always his first choice.
Right.
That's where I learned about cannabis and how to use it as medicine. My father was a Rasta.
Yay.
And so culturally, it was part of my experience as a West Indian American child growing up, being raised by West Indian American parents. And they weren't American. Well, they were. They became American later on in life, but I was first generation American in my
Same.
family.
I'm first generation.
And can you share with us a little bit of your cultural background?
Yeah. So the markings that you see, my mother's from the island of Sumatra. That's an island in Indonesia. Indonesia has 17,000 islands.
Oh my
so
gosh.
we are the islander OGs. We are Pacific Islanders, but on the other side. So Hawaii's on one side of the Pacific, we're on the other side of the Pacific.
Awesome.
So my culture comes from that part of the...
Yes,
and
indigenous.
yes,
Those are indigenous people
yeah.
living and understanding how to live off the earth that they've been
Yeah.
gifted.
Yeah.
And just like my family, my tribal family, my mother being from Trinidad and Tobago and my father being from the island of Dominica, it was so important when I got diagnosed, and my dad was gone already, so I couldn't really share with him my experience and my journey, but it was so important for me to tap into those resources that I had, and understanding other healers that were already in my family and around me, understanding how we use herb medicine, and that's kind of how my journey began. I knew already that cannabis was medicine because my grandmother kept a bottle of rum in the back of the rum cabinet that had all these herbs and bushes in it and greenery, and when you got sick, you got a spoonful of that. If you started coughing, you got a spoonful of this rum, and you sweated it out,
Yep.
and you were fine in a couple hours. And as a child, I didn't understand, but as an adult, I asked my dad, like, what was that? And he explained to me that, in indigenous people have it in there instinctively, in their whether they saw their mother doing it or their grandmother doing it, they know what plants and what herbs to go get out of the jungle, and what to mix with it to create the medicine that is needed to heal their child, to heal their family member. Thank you.
In Chinese medicine, we call that a tincture.
Exactly.
And
alcohol-based tincture.
Alcohol-based.
That's right.
And we have several of them here in the clinic brewing. Patients can come in and see the different tinctures that are brewing. And then
getting
we
infused,
strain them
right,
and put them in little droplets for the patients to take later.
I love that.
So, yes. I think we're...
We're almost.
Okay,
and so
good.
I didn't know if there's anything else that you wanted to share with us.
Just with Chinese medicine, a lot of people think of acupuncture. There are a lot of other modalities that go with it. We kind of touched upon the spiritual side of it. That's part of Chinese medicine. Herbs we talked about. So we here in our clinic, we do all natural herbal prescriptions. We have a raw herbs dispensary here. It's not the kind of dispensary that Nicole deals with. It's all Chinese herbs. But we have a full dispensary, so there are times when we can custom make little tea bags for people, foot soaks, bath soaks, all kinds of things, tinctures. And then we have them encapsulated for people who don't want to bother with making it. They just want to take the capsule form, which is we grind them in a powder and put them in a capsule, and then they can just take them like their vitamins. We also have something called gua shan cupping, which is now we're going back to the blood, where we're trying to manipulate the blood and regulate it, pulling out stagnation, helping it create movement and circulation in the body, allowing clean, fresh blood to come into certain tissue areas to do repair. And then we have something called Tuina, which is really an excellent tool when you're talking about HIV. The thing I like about Tuina is it can help with lymphatic drainage, helping that soft massage, kind of moving the chi and the blood in the body to help it eliminate and do the things it needs to do. So we have a lot of modalities. In our clinic, I have supporting practitioners, medical practitioners, and all kinds of avenues that help stack treatments so that the patient really gets a really healthy support in every aspect that they need, including the mental health.
Because it all encompassing. It all works together, and that's why I put together this series. Thank you so much to M4MM for helping me to sponsor this, to partnering with me to support me on this. I thank you to the Southern Nevada Health Consortium, who also partnered with us on this project, and they had me as their guest speaker last week at the National Black HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. So it was my honor to be able to speak with their audience there. And so, and thank you also to Hawthorne for being a sponsor for this series. When you come to Vegas, I know a lot of people are coming to Vegas to see the Strip and do things that they don't want to tell anyone back home that they've done. But next time you come to Vegas, I would consider coming to Tribe with Roots. Having some healing experiences, and you might say, I don't need any healing. Most of us out here are really struggling, and you don't know it until you get around people that can kind of help pull that out of you. But just understanding what it means to create balance in your daily routine, to create balance in your life, and how much easier and happier you are if you are intentionally wanting to add value to your health. It's so important. And so that's why I put together this series. We started off with plant-based lifestyle, and we talked a little bit about how important what it is you're putting in your body matters. And then we also, we had our meditation and movement episode where we did yoga with Anna. Thank you for being a part of that. And self-love with Leticia. She was helping us with mindfulness and meditation. And I'm so honored to have Dr. Nina come and share with us a little bit about her experience and her expertise as a doctor and an acupuncturist and a hypnotherapist. She's got a long list. And so we're so grateful. Thank you so much for being a part. Thank you all that joined us today. If you did not catch the live and you want to make sure you want to tell your friends about it, or if you are on with us today, you can find the recording at MM United on our Facebook page. You can also get the recording on our YouTube channel. It'll be posted there, as well as on our LinkedIn. I will be posting live. I hope that the sound gets better. I hope that you all can hear us out there in the world. I see some comments, but we thank you again for being here today. We are so appreciative. I just wanted to make sure that you all knew about all of the different ways that what a holistic lifestyle looks like. It is definitely a journey, and I'm so appreciative to be on this journey. Thank you all for having us. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your time with us on this Monday. Happy Valentine's Day out there to those who are celebrating love today in that way. I try to celebrate love every day. It's one of the things that my spiritual awakening did for me. I recognize that I can no longer subscribe to any institutionalized religion. And so for me, love is my guide. It's why I love my heart so much, but because it's the symbol of love. And I feel like the divine creator created me out of love. And so I want to be able to spread that and show that to the world. And doesn't require any specific religion. But love. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Eric, my producer back there in the background, our board chair. Thank you for the support. We love you all, and remember that if you have any questions or you want to reach out, please follow me at Purple Plant Magic, and reach out to me if you have any questions. I'd love to get you connected with all of our resources here in Las Vegas and around the country, because we are connecting with healers all over the world. So, Thank you so much.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. So